Okay, so it happened. The JT Miller era is officially over in Vancouver because last week, Canucks GM Patrik Allvin traded JT Miller, Erik Brännström, and prospect Jackson Dorrington to the New York Rangers in exchange for Filip Chytil, Victor Mancini, and a top 13 protected 2025 first-round pick. At first glance, you might be thinking, that's it? That's all they could get for JT Miller? And that's a fair knee-jerk reaction to have. I mean, players like JT don't grow on trees, so any team trading for a guy like him better be willing to give up a serious haul. But in this case, Vancouver didn't really have much leverage. Everybody and their dog knew the Canucks locker room issues weren't getting fixed unless they moved either Miller or Elias Pettersson. And to make matters worse, the Carolina Hurricanes had already filled their need for an impact forward by acquiring Mikko Rantanen from the Colorado Avalanche a few weeks prior, leaving the Rangers as the only team really willing to do any serious business with the Canucks. It also didn't help that JT had a no-movement clause, giving him the power to veto any trade to a team he didn't want to go to. After considering everything I just said, if you're still not satisfied with what the Canucks got in return for JT Miller, don't worry because there's more. Just a few hours after that deal, Allvin took that 2025 top 13 protected first-round pick and along with Danton Heinen, Vincent Desharnais, and prospect Melvin Fernström used it to acquire Marcus Pettersson and Drew O'Connor from the Pittsburgh Penguins. So really, the Canucks traded JT Miller, Erik Brännström, Danton Heinen, Vincent Desharnais, and prospects Jackson Dorrington and Melvin Fernström in exchange for Marcus Pettersson, Filip Chytil, Drew O'Connor, Victor Mancini, and just under $7 million in cap space. I honestly think they did a great job, and here's why. Let's start with Marcus Pettersson, and yes, we now have 3 Petterssons on the team, but don't worry, thanks to Canucks media legend Jeff Patterson, we've already got a nickname for him, MP3. On the ice, MP3 is a steady defense-first blue liner with excellent reach, solid positioning, and great stick work. He's not flashy, but he's a reliable top 4 guy who thrives in a shutdown role. At 6'5", he uses his long frame effectively to disrupt plays, win battles along the boards, and break up passing lanes. And while he's not known for providing heaps of offense, he can make a solid first pass and isn't a liability with the puck. And his locker room presence is a far cry from the quiet, business-only demeanor you might expect from a shutdown defenseman. He's loud, energetic, and a huge positive force in the dressing room. Oh, and he's not afraid of anyone. While he might not be the best fighter, he never backs down. The list of players he's fought already is absolutely terrifying. He squared off with Nick Delorier, Tom Wilson, Darnell Nurse, Mackenzie Weegar, Jonah Gadjevich, and Sam Bennett, just to name a few. I think we're gonna like this guy. He'll be wearing Tom Sestito's old number 29. Then there's Filip Chytil, a dynamic 25-year-old forward known for his speed, vision, and two-way game. He's a versatile player capable of playing both center and wing, and has a noticeable knack at driving the play through the neutral zone with his skating ability. The 6'2" native of Czechia already has a 20-goal season under his belt and 36 games of playoff experience, including a deep run with the Rangers in 2022 where he finished second in scoring despite playing third-line minutes. He's also a solid locker room presence. Chytil will be rocking Peter Schaefer's old number 72. Drew O'Connor, he's a fast, hard-working forward who's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He's got a solid two-way game. He's capable of chipping in offensively, but his bread and butter is really being a responsible presence in his own end and on the forecheck. He's got good size, so he's tough to handle when he's going after the puck, and while he's not necessarily a top scorer, he's a guy who can help create opportunities and keep the pressure on. He's got some upside if he gets the right chance too. And when I say this guy's hard-working, look no further than the fact that he was passed up in his draft year, mostly due to his size, because at the time he stood at just 5'8", but in the years after, he shot up to 6'4" and started dominating at the NCAA level and eventually earned his first professional contract with the Penguins in 2020. He also played with Connor Garland on Team USA at the 2023 World Championship, so he's got some ties with the team already. He'll be wearing Steve Bernier's old number 18. Then there's Victor Mancini, a player I'm sure none of us had heard of prior to this trade, but that doesn't mean he's not good. While he wasn't drafted in his first 2 eligible years, it wasn't necessarily due to a lack of talent. The COVID-19 pandemic disrupted the scouting process, and Mancini, playing in Sweden, didn't exactly have a ton of eyes on him. As a big defenseman, his skating and offensive numbers raised some concerns, causing teams to hesitate. However, Mancini's decision to return to North America in 2021 to play for the University of Nebraska-Omaha in the NCAA proved to be quite beneficial for him. His combination of size, physicality, and emerging puck-moving skills caught the attention of scouts, and in 2022, he was selected by the New York Rangers in the 5th round of the NHL draft. By his first pro season, Mancini was already making an impact with the Rangers affiliate team in the AHL, averaging over 21 minutes of ice time while contributing on both special teams. Mancini is a physical force in front of the net. He uses his 6'3", 230-pound frame to box out opponents and clear the crease, and his reach and positioning make him tough to beat, even if his skating isn't the quickest. And when it comes to his puck-carrying ability, his upside is obvious. He can lead end-to-end rushes, make power moves to the net, and even has an ass-blasting shot in his repertoire as well. At just 22 years old, his ability to activate offensively and join the rush shows a potential that's hard to ignore. I've got a good feeling about this guy. He'll be the first Canuck to wear number 90. So there it is, Johnny Tommy Miller is no longer a Vancouver Canuck. And look, I know it hurts, but we have to move on, it's the only way. If you're like me and like playing chicken with your emotions, I've linked a fan-made Miller tribute video in the description below that may or may not have left me in a pool of my own tears, so feel free to click that and give it a watch after you watch this video. Cause for now, we gotta talk about Game 50 against the Nashville Predators, also known as JT Miller's final game as a Vancouver Canuck. Dakota Joshua was back in the lineup after missing the previous 11 games with an injury, and he was right back to doing Dakota Joshua type shit. In net, it was Thatcher Demko versus UC Saros, and man, these guys are good at stopping pucks. Just look at some of these saves they were making. If it were me in net, I would have broken half my bones trying to make these saves. It's ridiculous. Anyway, the Canucks opened the scoring thanks to a beautiful passing play between Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson that ended in a goal for... oh god. I remember it like it was last week. Unaware of the impending chaos that was waiting for us in the days ahead. 7 minutes into a low-stakes regular season matchup against the Nashville Predators, a man known as Big Hog retrieved the puck right in the slot, and before any of us could blink, he had shot it past the pad of UC Saros. It was beautiful. It changed my life. Thank you, Big Hog. Thank you. 1-0 Canucks.
A few moments later.
Novak in front, LaRue, stop, rebound, Novak scores!
1-1. Linus Karlsson was dressed for this game, taking the place of the still injured Kiefer Sherwood, and guess what?
What?
Okay, that was weird. In his 10th NHL game, he scored his first NHL goal.
Awesome!
Fun fact, in 2017, Vancouver traded Canuck legend Alexander Burrows to the Ottawa Senators in exchange for prospect Jonathan Dahlin, but then, a couple years later, in 2019, the Canucks flipped Dahlin to the San Jose Sharks in exchange for Linus Karlsson. So, we have Alex Burrows to thank for that goal. Kinda. Also, what a pass by Tyler Myers here. This dude's been playing like a Norris Trophy candidate since returning from his suspension. What a guy. 2-1 Vancouver. Anyway, Quinn Hughes pulled off some absolutely disgusting moves like he always does, and thanks to an empty net goal from Pius Suter, the Canucks won 3-1. And the Predators coach, Andrew Brunette, wasn't too happy about it. I don't know what he was so angry about. Maybe he just needed some sleep. Luckily, sleep is no issue for me anymore thanks to the sponsor of today's video, MANTA Sleep. MANTA makes sleep masks for people who actually want to sleep. Like really sleep. Their masks give you 100% blackout, an adjustable fit, and ultimate comfort, even if you're a side sleeper. I've been using mine every single night and it's been so helpful. It feels like shutting off the arena lights after a big win. Total darkness, pure bliss. If you're ready to sleep like a goalie after a shutout, calm and unbothered, grab your MANTA sleep mask today and use my code NUCK10 for 10% off at checkout. Again, click the top link in the description of this video and use code NUCK10 for 10% off at checkout. Your future well-rested self will thank you. Now, on to Game 51 against the Dallas Stars, the first game without JT Miller. It was weird. He literally found out about the trade minutes before the game started. He showed up in Dallas with the team and had to leave. I don't even know if they got to say proper goodbyes. It's rough. Connor Garland was processing the pain in the best way he knew how, pissing everyone off. God, I love this guy. Oh, and then thanks to this beautiful pass by Nils Big Hog Höglander, Garland scored his 14th of the season to tie the game 1-1. Dallas opened the scoring earlier, but I don't care. Big Hog was playing well, which is great to see considering how much of a struggle this season has been for him. Dallas scored. 2-1 Stars. Tyler Myers continued to look like he belongs up on the top pairing alongside Quinn Hughes. I'm starting to think cross-checking Evan Bouchard in the face is good luck or something. I don't know how else to explain this new version of Tyler Myers we're seeing. Dallas scored. 3-1 Stars. And then in a super strange and unfortunate chain of events, down 2 goals with under 4 minutes remaining in the game, Vancouver earned themselves a power play, and coach Rick Tocchet saw this as an opportunity to pull Demko for the extra attacker, but it backfired immediately. Dallas scored on the empty net to make it 4-1. But here's where it gets weird. The Canucks power play continued and Jake DeBrusk scored, cutting the Stars' lead back to just 2 goals, and again, with less than 2 minutes remaining in the game now, Tocchet pulled Demko for the extra attacker, and it backfired. 5-2 Dallas. But then, in the final minute of the game, Carson Soucy scored to make it 5-3. The Canucks were down 3-1. They scored 2 goals without the goalie pulled. But Dallas scored 2 goals on 2 empty nets. What a weird thing. And look, I'd be pretty annoyed by that if I wasn't already screaming at the top of my lungs about Quinn Hughes. Why? Because he got injured. He laid a big hit and then went down the tunnel and came back out, but looked to be in a lot of pain. And yeah, he's injured. He's injured. Okay, more on that later. The Canucks lost 5-3 to the Dallas Stars. Let's move on to Game 52 against the Detroit Red Wings, the debut of Marcus MP3 Pettersson, Filip Chytil, and Drew O'Connor. Kiefer Sherwood was back in the lineup after missing the last 4 games with an undisclosed injury. By the way, all he needed was 1 more hit to set the record for the most hits in a single season by any Canuck player ever. And obviously, he did it, so that's pretty cool. Elias DPD Pettersson was dressed to play in his 3rd ever NHL game, but it was hard to get excited about that considering the reason he was in the lineup. Quinn Hughes wasn't, because he's injured. Quinn Hughes is injured. Pius Suter scored 5 minutes into the game, assisted by DPD for his first NHL point. That's awesome. 1-0 Canucks. Detroit scored. 1-1. Drew O'Connor looked absolutely sick. He really impressed me in this game. He was a dog on the puck all night, and he was smart with it when he got it as well. He was setting up scoring chances, making great defensive plays, blocking shots, swerving around defenders, making power moves, and man, this guy can skate. He's like Speedy Gonzalez out there. I know it's just 1 game, but I'm pretty stoked on him so far. Detroit scored. 2-1 Red Wings. Filip Chytil also looked really damn good out there. Every time he was on the ice, something interesting would happen, and it was pretty clear early on that him and Garland have some decent chemistry brewing as line mates. We'll see if they stick together. Oh, and he scored this beautiful goal to send the game into 3-on-3 overtime. Come on, you can't tell me you're not excited about these guys. Anyway, so what happened in overtime? Why are you asking? It's the 2025 Canucks. 3-on-3 overtime is their kryptonite. They lost 3-2. Come on. Now, on to Game 53 against Cale Makar and the Colorado Avalanche. Quinn Hughes is still injured. The teams traded power plays in the first period, but neither could open the scoring. Filip Chytil continued to shine. He was arguably the best Canuck forward on the ice for the 2nd game in a row. I'm really liking this guy so far. Jake DeBrusk opened the scoring 5 minutes into the 2nd period with this beauty of a play, catching the puck in the air and in one fluid motion, dropping it down to his stick and shooting it past Mackenzie Blackwood to make it 1-0 for the Canucks. DPD had himself quite the game, and I mean that. It was the type of game that cements your spot in an NHL lineup, at least for now. He was golden all night, demolishing guys, making insane defensive plays, sticking up for his teammates. I love DPD! DeBrusk notched his 2nd point of the night when he sent this gorgeous pass across the ice right to the stick of a streaking Brock Besser. That was on the power play. 2-0 Canucks. This is when the Avs started to get willy mad. Ooh, they're so tough. They were mad because they couldn't get anything done offensively, but it wasn't just because Vancouver's new-look Quinn Hughes-less D-core played their asses off. It was also because Thatcher the puck snatcher Demko kept saying heck no to every single chance they mustered up. He was stopping every biscuit that came his way. He didn't care about Nathan MacKinnon's feelings or Cale Makar's stat line. He didn't care at all. He stopped every damn puck, and thanks to Drew O'Connor's first empty net goal as a Canuck, Vancouver beat Colorado 3-0. Nice. Shout out to Chris FX6W for predicting the score of Game 50 correctly. If you want a chance to be shouted out in my next video, drop your score predictions for the next 2 Canucks games against the San Jose Sharks and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thanks to these wonderful knuckheads for clicking the join button and becoming members of the channel. It supports what I do and I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Suck it, bitch.
If you liked what you just watched and want to keep watching my content, I've picked 2 more videos that I think you're gonna like, so click one of them. But it's okay, if you want to go watch Mr. Beast or something, go ahead. It's fine with me. It's not like a bear is gonna enter my living room and start attacking you. What the fuck?